Most legal nurse consultants fail at networking because they're trying to sell instead of building relationships. Now, let me show you an approach that actually works. I'm Randy Lovelace. I've built my own six-figure legal nurse consulting firm, and I've helped hundreds of nurses to build their successful LNC businesses as well. This track record of massive success is due largely to relationship building. But here's what I learned the hard way. Networking isn't about pitching your services to as many attorneys as possible. It's about building genuine relationships with people who happen to be attorneys. Now, today I'm going to show you exactly how to network effectively as a legal nurse, including where to find opportunities, how to present yourself, and why most legal nurses give up way too early and miss incredible opportunities. Now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it and subscribe to my channel. Before we talk about where and how to network, we need to address the biggest mistake legal nurse consultants make: showing up with the wrong mindset. Don't show up to networking events like a door-to-door salesperson trying to close a deal. Attorneys can smell that sort of desperation a mile away, and it's incredibly off-putting, to be honest. Don't go in thinking, I need to get clients tonight. That pressure is just going to make you feel awkward and pushy and ineffective. So instead, go into networking events genuinely curious about the people you're going to meet. Your goal isn't to pitch your services. It's to learn about attorneys' practices, their challenges, their world. And when you're genuinely interested in people, they become genuinely interested in you as well. That is when real relationships are going to eventually become business opportunities. Seth, he's one of our Catalyst clients, and he told me that his breakthrough came when he stopped trying to convince attorneys to hire him and started asking thoughtful questions about their challenges. And that shift from vendor to consultant changed everything for him. All right, so let's dive into this a little bit more. The first challenge is simply knowing where to find networking opportunities. So let me give you a systematic approach. Start with a targeted internet search in your area. Things like personal injury, attorney events in whatever your city is. Medical malpractice lawyer networking in your city. Look for trial lawyer association in your state, plaintiff attorney conferences in your state or region, defense attorney events in your city. Use these sorts of research tactics and follow organizations in your area that might be announcing event opportunities. There are state and local bar associations, trial lawyer associations, defense counsel associations. There might be women's attorneys groups, young lawyers divisions, specialty practice groups, med mal, personal injury, birth injury, battered women, so on and so forth. And most of these organizations host regular events like monthly mixers or CLE, which is continuing legal education events. They might have annual conferences, social gatherings, and don't overlook general business networking, like your local Chamber of Commerce events. Business after-hours mixers, professional networking groups, the Business Networking International or BNI chapters, you can also find those. And while these aren't necessarily attorney-specific, these types of events I just talked about, attorneys still attend them, and you might be the only legal nurse consultant in the room. Now, once you identify relevant organizations, follow them on LinkedIn, subscribe to their email list, set up Google alerts to let you know when there's attorney events in your area. Join their social media groups, check their event calendars monthly. And here's where most legal nurse consultants fail with networking. They give up too early. Networking, it rarely produces immediate results. You might attend 5 or 10 events before you get your first case from a networking contact. But that doesn't mean those first events were wasted. See, every conversation is building familiarity with you. Every interaction is establishing credibility. Every event attended is making you a known presence in their world and the legal community. And a lot of legal nurse consultants, they'll attend 1 or 2 events, they don't immediately get cases, and they decide networking doesn't work. It's the same bullcrap that the market is oversaturated or nobody can get business because you haven't been trained right. You don't have the right mentor. You didn't take the right course. But these nurses who quit, they're playing a short-term game in what's actually a long-term strategy. I mean, think about it from the attorney's perspective. They're not going to hire a complete stranger that they just met. But after seeing you at 3 or 4 events, 5 events, having a couple meaningful conversations, observing how you interact with other people, you're not a stranger anymore. You're a familiar professional in their network. Now, I recommend committing to attending at least 2 networking events every month for a minimum of 6 months before you evaluate whether it's working or not. That's 12 events. Plenty to become a familiar face and build real relationships. And that said, though, not all networking opportunities are created equal. So let me break down the different types that you should be pursuing. Now, first, let's talk about formal networking events. These are structured events designed specifically for networking, like bar association mixers, legal industry conferences, CLE events with networking components, professional organization meetings. And here's the advantages to this type of event. Everybody expects networking conversations. So your strategy should be get there early, stay late, target smaller conversation groups, not the ones where there's 10 people. Another networking opportunity is something called an open house. Law firms often host open houses for a number of reasons. Sometimes they're celebrating an anniversary at the firm. They might be announcing new partners or opening new locations. It might be a holiday party, could be community events. And most LNCs completely ignore these opportunities, which is a huge mistake. And here's why. They're more relaxed. It's a social atmosphere. Most attorneys from one firm are going to be there. So a lot of attorneys you can get connected with in that firm, which one of them might give you an opportunity to break into that firm. They're often more accessible than they are at formal events. And it's a great place for learning about the firm's culture and the practice areas where they tend to focus. So your strategy, when you see announcements for law firm open houses, attend them, even if you don't know anybody there. These events are designed to welcome guests, and they're designed to build community relationships. Okay. They're also informal legal gatherings, and you can find some of these, and when you do, they are a gold mine. They're a gold mine opportunity that, again, most LNCs miss. Things like attorney happy hours. If you can find out where they're having their happy hour and show up, that could be an amazing opportunity. Charity events for the legal community. Look for courthouse adjacent lunch spots where attorneys tend to go eat lunch when they're at court. Things like golf tournaments that attorneys participate in. Community service projects or events that have legal world involvement in it. And here's why this matters. These informal settings can often lead to a more genuine conversation than a formal networking event. Attorneys, they have their guard down, right? And you're more likely to just have real, memorable interactions, which leads to deeper relationships. And here's another secret gem, the dinner strategy, let's call it. This is one of the most powerful networking strategies, and it's criminally underutilized. Once you have an established relationship with one attorney, ask him, hey, I'd love to take you to dinner to just say thank you for working with me and showing you how much I appreciate our relationship. Anybody else that you'd like to invite, any other colleagues that you feel like could benefit from learning about working with us, feel free to invite them too. And this works because your attorney client is essentially endorsing you to their colleague. This is a way to get referrals. Smaller, intimate settings at dinner allow for deeper conversations and getting to know each other better. Breaking bread together helps build stronger relationships. And plus, colleagues of your client, that attorney client, often have similar case types and similar needs. Okay, and finally, continuing legal education, CLEs. These events, they can be a great way to get your foot in the door. Attorneys have to go, they need ongoing education to maintain their license, so they have to have these CLEs. And CLE events often have networking components before, during breaks, after educational session. So here's the strategy I want to give you. Attend these CLE events related to medical malpractice, personal injury, or whatever area you are focused on and you're trying to add value. Here's what not to do. Don't try to pitch during the event. Focus networking on the breaks and in social times, not during the actual lessons. And demonstrate your knowledge. Ask thoughtful questions during Q&As. Show them that you're a smart person, that they could really have valuable communication and working relationships with. All right, now let's talk a little bit more about how to present yourself at these events. Once you're at a networking event, how you present yourself is going to matter enormously. If an attorney asks what you do, have a clear, concise introduction that sparks curiosity rather than sounding like a sales pitch. So here's something I don't want you to say. It's bad. I'm a legal nurse consultant. I provide services such as chronologies and medical reports, brief summaries of causation, merit reviews, demand letter formation, expert witness location, deposition preparation, and I can attend and observe your IMEs. You just pitched, and especially if you go into, and our value is higher than other legal nurses you might have worked with. We only charge blah, blah, you're just pitching, right? So here's good. Something like, I help attorneys understand complex medical issues and their cases, and I've spent over 20 years in critical care nursing. Now I translate medical records into a language that makes sense for the legal strategy. Much better, right? Even better, I'm a nurse who helps attorneys win medical malpractice and personal injury cases by connecting the medical dots that they don't see themselves. Even better, right? So it's super short. I'm not pitching. I'm not going into everything I'm doing. The goal is to be interesting and memorable, not comprehensive and salesy. The best networkers I know are the best question askers. Instead of talking about yourself, get attorneys talking about themselves. What type of law do you practice? What's the most challenging aspect of medical cases for you? How do you typically handle the medical analysis on your big cases? What's been the biggest change in your practice area in the recent years? What do you wish you understood better about the medical side of your cases? Notice that none of these questions are about me or hiring me. They're about understanding their world. And you should listen far more than you talk. When attorneys share challenges or frustrations, resist the urge to immediately pitch how you can solve those problems. Instead, ask follow-up questions that show you really are listening and that you're genuinely interested. And remember that your nonverbal communication matters as well. Make eye contact. Smile genuinely. Stand with open, welcoming posture, not looking over to the side and, be open, be genuine. Be friendly. Give your full attention to whoever's speaking and put the darn phone away. Don't scan the room for a better person to talk to while you're in conversation with someone. Here's another tidbit. Dress professionally. Dress appropriately for the event. Business professional for formal events. Business casual for less formal gatherings. But always err on the side of being slightly overdressed rather than underdressed. Look polished, well put together. Attorneys notice this stuff. They are trained to notice details. Have your professional business cards ready or your phone ready to send it over electronically, but don't distribute them aggressively. Keep them in an easily accessible pocket or card holder if you're carrying actual cards with you, and only offer it when someone expresses interest in connecting. Or better yet, ask them for their card, and then the ball's in your court to follow up later. Toward the end of conversations with attorneys who seem like potential clients, you may just say something like, hey, I'd love to learn more about your practice and how you go about handling medical issues in your cases. Would you be open to me buying you a coffee one morning next week? This is relationship building, not pitching. You're asking for a conversation, not a sale. And networking doesn't end when that event ends. The follow-up is where the relationships actually develop. You should send a personalized email or a LinkedIn message to every person that you had a meaningful conversation with. Something simple. It was great meeting you at blank event last night. I really enjoyed hearing about your work in MedMal defense or MedMal plaintiff or whatever they did. I'd love to continue our conversation over coffee sometime. Are you available next Tuesday or Thursday afternoon? This works because it shows that you remember the conversation you had. It demonstrates follow through and consistency. It moves the relationship from an event encounter to an intentional connection. And if you discuss specific challenges, interest cases, send relevant information. Hey, I was thinking about your question regarding cardiac care standards, and I came across this article from the Journal of Cardiology that it addresses exactly the issue you were talking about. I thought you might find it interesting. Free. Done. This positions you as a resource and not just a service provider. Remember that you're playing the long game here. Not everybody's going to respond immediately, and that's fine. Add them to your professional network and connect on LinkedIn. Engage with their content occasionally. Send periodic check-ins. Invite them to other networking events. Share relevant articles or information. And once you've attended enough events and you've built these relationships, consider hosting your own. A legal lunch and learn session on medical topics, or small group dinners for attorneys in similar practice areas. Educational webinars on medical issues that are relevant to the legal cases. And this positions you as a connector and a thought leader, not just an attendee or a salesperson. Okay, so now that you have a good idea of what to do and how to do it, let me address the common obstacles I see that stop legal nurse consultants from networking effectively. Here's one. I'm an introvert. I hear this one a lot, but you don't have to be the most outgoing person at the event. Focus on having a few quality conversations rather than working the entire room. Another one is, I don't know what to say. Well, prepare a few questions before each event. Have your introduction polished. Remember that asking questions is easier than making conversation. Another one I get, I feel like I'm bothering people. Look, attorneys go to networking events to meet people. You're not bothering them. You're participating in exactly what they're there to do. Here's another one. It's not producing results. Remember the persistence principle. 6 months, 12 events minimum. Track who you meet. Follow up consistently. Measure results after you've truly given it time. You're going to find it does work, especially if you're doing it right. Guys, I love giving this free information because I feel like there's so many people out there who don't know what they're doing. And I have a passion to help you. Let me keep going here. There's another one I want to talk about. I don't have time. 2 events a month. Maybe you're spending 5 to 10 hours total. If you're serious about building your business, that's a minimal time investment for potentially significant returns. Now look, networking is not the only way to build a legal nurse consulting business, but it is one of the most powerful because it builds relationships that can last for decades. The attorneys that you meet this month could be sending you cases for the next 20 years. And that's not just business, that's building a professional community that's going to support your entire career. So here are your action steps. I know I'm not, you haven't paid me to be your mentor. You haven't paid me to be your coach, but I still want to pour into you. And maybe one day you will. Maybe you'll join Catalyst. Maybe you'll really get serious about your career and your business and really want to set it on fire. And I hope you do. But here's something for you. This is what I want you to do. Starting this week, research 3 legal organizations in your area. Find and register for 2 networking events in the next month. Prepare your introduction and your questions and commit to attending consistently for 6 months. I want you to do this. Follow up with every meaningful connection within 48 hours after the event. In Catalyst Coaching and Mentoring, I go into this concept and so many more, way deeper than this video. Inside, I teach you not just the technical skills of legal nurse consulting, but how to build the relationships that sustain your business. If you decide Catalyst is right for you, you're going to learn things like exactly what to say when networking with attorneys, how to position yourself as a strategic partner. You'll get exact follow-up systems that are going to build lasting relationships. And you'll learn how to leverage one attorney relationship to make many. We also provide a community where you can practice these skills with other legal nurse consultants, role play, networking conversations in small group or large group settings, and learn from others, including me, who are successfully building attorney relationships and are running booming LNC firms. The relationships you build through networking can become your most valuable business asset. It's not your website, not your business cards, not even your skills. Your relationships with attorneys who trust you and send you work consistently is key. If you'd like to learn more about Catalyst, check out our free training where I show you the complete framework for building a successful LNC business, which includes relationship building strategies that turn networking into consistent income. The link is in the description below. Listen, your future attorney clients, they're going to be at those networking events next week, waiting to meet someone just like you. The only question is, are you going to show up? Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video.